everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vivian. If you're seeing my face for the very first time, so good to have you here, and I hope you stick by. Okay, I've been away from this channel for a very long time, a very long time, and I apologize to that for all my subscribers. I'm just grateful to God that I'm able to come back here and create content once more. God has just laid in my heart something to share with you guys. It's a part of my story being a human being. It's just a part of my story, growing up and all of that, and I just hope that this is a blessing to somebody, to whoever, to as many people as can relate to my story. I just hope that this blesses you and this causes you to make good and right decisions for your life. Yeah, that's the intent of this video. If you're one of those people that just feel like I'm gonna have my child anywhere I have my child, I don't need to be married to have a child and all of that, then I'm afraid this video is not for you. I'm sorry. I do not want you to feel offended. It's not the intent of this video at all. I do not want anybody to feel judged as well. Who am I to judge? So I was that child that was born out of wedlock. If you were born out of wedlock, it means your parents, even though were together at the time when they had you, they were not married. So it means any child they have in that situation is born out of wedlock, which is where I fall into. Okay, and I spent most of my childhood with my granddad, and when he died I had to go stay with mom and then eventually dad, and back and forth and all of that. So I love my parents, and this is not in any way or form to cast any form of blame or make anyone think that okay, she doesn't like her parent. No, it's nothing to do with that. It's just to share some kind of imbalances that can happen when you grow up when you're born out of wedlock. You kind of things that life can throw at you. That's what this is about. So yeah, I went to high school. I went to a boarding house, and it was far away from my mom, from where she stayed. And so holidays I would go home to holiday, and then sometimes I would go to some friends' house, mom's friend's house, that was like sisters. So these friends are like sisters, and they had kids, so it's like always welcoming, and life was good at the time, because I guess in those days in the 90s, the human mind was not as perverted as it is these days, that you want to be weary where you send your child to this day and age. So even though these people were very beautiful to me, they treated me as like their children and loved me and all of that, there was still that vacuum inside of me. There was still that longing to be with mom and dad in the same house, like just feel that love. But circumstance, I understand, at the time did not allow for that to happen in my childhood. Okay, so yeah, even though I went to these aunties, I stayed with his friends, and and they treated me so lovely, so amazing, there was still a vacuum. There was still an emptiness that I felt as a child. I remember one time in high school, it was visiting day. In visiting days in high school, like in boarding houses, you have parents come over. If your parents are not coming over, they have somebody from your family, just coming to visit, and they bring you food, they bring you all sort of stuff and all of that. And if you're in boarding house, you value things like that, right? So I never I never had visits in boarding house, in boarding school. I never had those kind of visits. Like, no one ever came for me. And then in high school, you're spending 6 years in school. So not to have that experience is not exactly great. So I remember this particular incident. I never really looked forward to it for myself. I always look forward to it for my friends, because I knew that their parents were coming, their family members were coming, and they would bring stuff, food and all of that, and then we're all going to eat together. I knew I was going to eat their food, but I never had people come visit me, visiting days. They're coming to visit me and stuff like that. Like, my parents are coming, this parent will come, or that parent will come, or this auntie. I never had that. So I can remember one incident each for both parents when they came. That was just one, and it wasn't even visiting day. It was just, because they live far off and then they were just passing by and they stopped by to me, so it wasn't even visiting day. So yeah, so when visiting days came, I just look forward to my friends parents coming and me enjoying their food. Yeah, I just felt overwhelmed this particular visiting day. There's a limit to what anybody can take, or anybody can endure. And as a child, with my mentality then and all of that, you're not fully mature to handle things. So it was fine, to see people's parents come and all of that. But this particular visiting day, I went to the backyard and I sat down and I cried. I cried so badly that day. I can never forget that experience, because everybody was looking for my friends, so they're looking for me like, where is she? She needs to come and eat and all of that. And I was just at the backyard crying back of the hostel. I was crying. I was like, why is it just me? Why do I always have to be the one that experiences this? Why won't I have that? Why can't nobody come visit me? Why can't no family member just come spend time with me and all of that? So, and that day I looked at myself, I'm never going to allow any child of mine experience this. So even though it seemed like I was fine with just spending time with my friends and their parents, and I was like, I don't want you to just introduce me to your parents, and this is my friend, this is my mommy, this is my friend, daddy, this is my friend. I want to introduce you to my own parents. Why are they not here? So yeah, that kind of messes with the child's orientation and things like that, her thinking, her well-being. It messed up with mine at that time. So yeah, that day I made up my mind, my children are not experiencing anything like this. I do not want them to feel this lonely, because that day I felt this overwhelming amount of loneliness that I cannot even explain. It was so painful. I just wanted to be by myself and just cry and just feel sorry for myself, which was what I did. And I did that in abundance on that day. I just cried and cried and cried, but I knew I had a resolve in me that I was not going to put any child through this. It's only a person that goes through something that can tell you the story. So I can have somebody come say, oh, your parents loved you and all of that, they treated you well and all of that. But yeah, I had experiences that I wasn't comfortable with, and I couldn't really speak about them at the time to any parent. I couldn't really talk to anybody about it. But these are things that I experienced and I internalized. And then I went on to university, and it was a different ball game there. Now I was a mature person, okay? I could go anywhere I wanted to go for holidays. I could decide for myself what I wanted to. But it's still the same thing of, even though I was in places, I would go to places where they showed me so much love, I still felt that vacuum. I still had friends that went home after school. They would go to their parents' house, they would spend time, holidays with their parents, and that was still lacking for me. So even though I would go to one parent's house, I felt the absence of this other parent. And there was that vacuum that still needed to be filled. And I come from a region in Nigeria where people there's what people expect from people that come from where I come from. They just think that young girls, all they do in my area is just have kids. They just go about and have kids without without being married. All they want to do in life is just have kids. I knew that's not what I want for myself. I wanted better for myself, and I saw it play in front of me. Okay, so this is not like what people said. That's it. I saw it. People come to school in their first year, and then by the end of it, they're like pregnant. I'm like, why are you pregnant? Why are you pregnant for what? And also when it comes to that, in my family, I saw a pattern, okay? It was like the girls in my family never really got married. If the men as well, men and women, it was like marriage was not in the cards, but children were in it, but not marriage. Why won't you want to get married? That for me, that was a pattern. I saw a clear pattern. It was no marriage, but there were loads of kids. And I was like, no, something has to change here. People need to take a stand and change things. And I felt that the only way I could do that was in the place of prayer. I was going to God and say, Lord, this is what I see. This is a clear pattern I see. And even then, I did not know Christ that much, okay? I got saved when I was in second year. I didn't know before then. I didn't know Christ that much, okay? I wanted to live my life for Christ, but there was no guidance as to that. But I knew that certain things needed to change. So I used to, when I became a believer, I used to pray fervently, from those early years. I used to pray, Lord, I want this to change. I can see that this is what is happening. It's almost like, yeah, it's normal, but I don't think this is normal. This is not normal. This is not what you want for me. This is not your plan for me. So if I'm going to have a child, I'm going to have children. I'm going to do it the right way, which is to get married and then have children in wedlock, have children, be blessed in my home and be there for my children. I wanted children to be brought up in a home where they know love, they are shown love, and they see love, okay? Not being, going to this, being that I didn't want them to repeat this cycle that been in my life, which was, being far away from parents and being brought up by other people, and even though they love you, that it is still not, they're still not your parents. I want them to see love between me and their father, not look at other people and wish, oh, I wish my mom and dad were like that. I wish I wish that. I don't want that wishing, okay? I want them to experience the real thing. I want them to see what love is, and God is love. I knew that I could see other families that had, they were married and had kids, and everybody's thinking, they grew up in that family unit, that nuclear family unit. I wanted that for myself. I'm like, what is wrong with that? Why can't my family members, why don't I even see people in my family do this? This is what it should be. These people look like they're happy. Why can't you have that? That's what it was. I kept confessing that from a very young age. And the thing about kids are a gift from God. They are a gift. When God gives you that gift of a child, He expects you to nurture that child. Okay, you cannot have children and expect other people to raise your children for you. No, it's like when your father gives your earthly father, your parents or something, they give you an expensive gift, they buy you good shoes and all of that. And imagine how they feel when they see you, that good shoe, expensive shoe, they see you walking in the mud with that shoe, or a dress or something, and you're just, wearing a fancy dress to sit at home and not do anything. You're just, not valuing this gift they've given to you. How do you think you feel? The next thing they say, you that I bought this for, what did you do with it? I saw the way you've been treating that gift I bought for. You're not getting anything from me again. So you can imagine God giving you this best gift, a gift of a child, and you cannot take care of this child. You cannot nurture this child, show this child what love is. It's okay for you to just have children and just, one day you're going here, you're dumping your child here, you're going here, you're leaving your child here. Your child is just everywhere. There's no stability in a child's life. That's not what God wants, okay? If you're not ready to take care of children, you have no business having children. You have absolutely no business having them. If you cannot nurture the gifts that God gives to you in form of a child, then please do not go having children. Okay, now speaking about patterns, I told you the pattern in my life, the pattern in my family. The pattern in my family was that nobody was getting married, but they were just having children. Okay, that's a pattern there. If you notice a pattern that is not coherent, it's not aligning with God's word, with God's precepts, then you know this needs to go. Something needs to be broken off here. Things need to be broken off here, okay? That's when you need to go to God and say, Lord, I've seen this pattern. I've seen it repeating generation from generation to generation. I want it to stop now. I do not want it to continue into my life. It's going to stop, maybe from your parents, just break it off there. For your family, I've told you my pattern in my family. For your family, it could be people don't get educated in your family. People don't go to school because it's like you want to go to school and something happens and then that person doesn't go. That person wants to go to school in your family, something happens and they find themselves not going to school, and then so you have just generations of uneducated people. Okay, that's a pattern that can be broken. If you want to break it, if you don't want that to continue in your life, it can be broken, it can be stopped. Okay, so for me, this is what it was, and I'm sure this is for some people as well, because you see a lot of single mothers out there. There is nothing wrong with being a single mother. I'm not coming for you guys, okay? People go and have children for the very wrong reasons. You see in your family that they love young girls, they love your sisters, they love your cousins, they love your aunties, a lot of Your sisters, it just feels like everybody's going ahead and just having kids, and you know, just yeah, everybody's doing it, I might as well. No, it's not everybody's doing it, might as well. That's a very stupid thing to say. That's not reasoning, okay? But the fact that everybody's doing it does not mean you should do it. If you are not comfortable with it, okay, that's when you come to Christ and Lord, I need you to help me. I cannot help myself. Of ourselves, we are insufficient. We cannot do anything to help ourselves. Only God can help us break things that are not in line with the word of God. So it's go to God in prayer. Lord, I need this chain, I need this circle, I need it broken, and it will be broken. If you're that single mother thinking, I had a child, I had children out of wedlock, and then I found Christ, what do I do? God does not judge you. God does not keep a record of wrongs. He is love. He loves you. Just tell him, Lord, ask for forgiveness of God. I know I made this mistake, but I know that you're able to forgive me. You're able to cleanse me of all unrighteousness. And God hears your prayer. God does not keep a record of your wrong. He does not hold that against you. And one thing we all need to understand that, listen, it doesn't matter how a child comes into this. So once a child is born, once you are born, once you're on earth, you are very valuable. You are a blessing. Every child is a blessing. It doesn't matter if a child is born under a bridge, if a child was born wherever, the pits, wherever a child is born, okay, once a child is in this world, that child is a blessing. That child has a purpose. That child's life is very important and meaningful and should be nurtured and valued. So do not feel like, oh, I was born in this circumstance, so because of that, that's why my life is like this. That has nothing. The circumstances of your birth, of how you were brought up, has nothing to do with what God's calling for your life. So yeah, put away all thoughts like that and just ask God to help you, and he will. So God is able to break circles in our life if we recognize that this is a circle, this is a pattern in my family, around me, that I'm not comfortable with, and I need this to change. I don't want this to continue in my life. I do not want to have anything to do with this. It is not in line with God's word. I want none of it. God is able to break it. Break every pattern that is not consistent with the word of God as it pertains to your life. I hope this blesses someone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Stay blessed. Bye.